Hello, I am Holia Fairley and I am on a short informative call today with Shay and Lena, who are my good friends and business partners. And we're just going to have a quick chat today about frequency healing and these amazing little devices, Healy, which is the first wearable frequency device with 144,000 different frequencies, and it personally just feels like a really beautiful tool that is allowing people to take control of their own health and just to have a tool in their home to support their family's well-being. So yeah, thanks Shay and Lena for jumping on. Yeah, I guess I'll just share a little bit of my own experience. It's, we're not meant to make health claims or things like that with anything in the health industry really, but just wanted to share a little bit of my own experience, how this device has helped me. I personally feel like the frequencies have been able to lift my moods and to help my general well-being, just putting me more into alignment, giving me more energy. It's helped my daughter a lot when she's had sore teeth, being able to use the sticky pads for the pain, even though the company doesn't condone using it on children. They haven't done any studies. I just use my intuition with that and always use it on a low frequency, and it's really helped her. And it's helped my husband's health as well. He's got Lyme disease, and he also suffers from asthma and insomnia, and it's been able to support him with that. He hasn't had to use his asthma puffer since using the Healy, which is really amazing. And again, I'm not making health claims, but I'm just speaking through my own experience with this device. And I've also sold a device to a lady that's helped her fibromyalgia. It's helped people with their pain. There's a testimonials page on Facebook with lots of different testimonies, but just wanted to share, my own experience. It just feels just like an important tool, just something else to have to take a step away from being so reliant on the Western medical system, which is another thing I'd like to share is, we kind of look at our medical system and it has beautiful things and it's great. It's there if we need it for emergencies. But I personally feel like our system hasn't been able to evolve. There's things with the pharmaceutical industry. There's a lot of kind of things around money, and if we didn't have the pharmaceutical industry governing so much, we would be able to evolve to have more things like frequency healing, energy healing, crystal healing, and have a lot more of a holistic approach. Also, even including simple things like diet and lifestyle, right? Lena is an Ayurvedic practitioner and she works a lot around that. And Shay's also an astrologer and an energy healer and yoga teacher. So we're very much in the alternate health scene, which I hate even calling it the alternate health scene. It's more of a holistic approach to health. So yeah, I don't know if Shay or Lena, if you want to jump in and share anything. I just wanted to sort of initiate with my sort of feeling and story around this device. I've had it for almost a year now, and I've just got another one on the way that I'm going to use to rent out, so people can try it out for a few days or a week. And I think Shay's going to do the same with another device, so we can just support people with their health. Actually, I did have one more story to share. I put release, which is in the gold cycle, on my brother the other night without any expectations. It was actually for a cold sore, and I had a little read and it said release was one of the best ones to use for a cold sore, along with immune system and cold, to boost his system. But I thought, oh, release would be good. And the next day he said to me, what program did you put on me? I feel so good today. I've had so much energy. I just had the best day at work, where the day before was the worst day at work. He had a fight with someone and come home in the worst mood ever. And then the next day was his best day. And he's like, do you reckon that device did that? And I was like, yes, release. He's like, how could that do something like that? And it's kind of like, well, release is working on such a broad cellular level. If you release emotions or you release weight and tension out of your body, of course you feel lighter and more happy. It's releasing whatever needs to be released. So yeah, he was pretty frothing on that, which was cool to see. Yeah. So Shay, what about you? What kind of experience have you had with this little cool device?
Yeah, so it's been like almost a year now. We got ours at the end of March last year. Um, and it didn't take obviously much convincing for me, because we know that, quantum scientists know that frequency is everything. And it is funny even saying, like, everything has a vibration and a frequency in our entire reality. But it is funny, even when you said, I'm hesitant to use the word alternate too, because like we are going, the time of this Healy device is exactly on par with where we're going in the big astrological sense, which I know I always come back to, but it has so much meaning when you know proper astrology. But we are moving back into the matriarch now, but also the age of Aquarius, and when we call it alternate medicine or alternate therapies, but actually in the matriarchal times where we were 5,000 years ago, when we were living on the lands, we were in such close contact to nature and the spirit of things, and everything was understood to have a frequency, and it was understood that the plants would have a frequency and animals have a frequency. And then during our last 5,000 years, when that got taken away from us, and then we have so much we're not allowed to speak of so many things, and we are being like, if you make all these claims, you can be up for a lot of potentially lots of things can go wrong if you're making any types of claims whatsoever. However, to me, it's also so ridiculous when we know that frequency is everything. Of course, these things work, and so there's as soon as someone accepts that, then these little devices can help with so much. And it's not a direct, like, we never have a direct claim with Healy that it's going to fix problems, but it definitely, where we're at now in the collective, we are releasing so much like subconscious trauma from the collective, and these machines are for that. So even like release, but even when we do like a scan with the Healy on the auric scan, and it comes up with patterns that are still in the in the subconscious, like for me, there might be like, emotional blackmail, or fear coming through from authorities, and these things that are so vast. But instead of being seeing those patterns and then still feeling like there's still a problem, it's actually, for me, I love the fact that you can see what it's still trying to correct, what this machine's still helping you to balance out. And then, so that's the aura scan. And then and then you can run a vibration for that. But then also the direct scans, that's scanning us on the resonance and then running a program. I'm getting so much out of it. And we've had some, I haven't had many major health things to actually do a big testimonial, where I know a lot of people on the Healy experience page have had like direct health things that they can directly see improvement in. Mine's more just a general maintenance all the time, but we've had a lot, like it helps my kids a lot. And then also my sister-in-law, she got one. She got a hers just before Christmas, and her husband, he held onto firecrackers on New Year's Eve, and third-degree burns, like really intense burns, because he held onto the whole bunch of firecrackers. and he was supposed to go get a skin graft, and the risk of infection was really high. His fingers were really bad, and the Healy, like, he's sold like on it now, because his hands, they told him he would never have full range of motion again in them, and that the nerve damage would be that he would always have numbness in his fingers. And he's got full range of motion, and in such a short period of time. But he was running the Healy.
He's also going through a bit of a spiritual awakening from using it too,
yeah,
isn't he?
because as soon as he ran, like he was running programs to directly help him with the resonance and programs that were suited to this, but he was also running a lot of the scalar frequencies, like the quantum frequencies on the aura scan, and he was finding out like patterns that were going on, and that he'd never been aware of. And I mean, the first thing of healing is just to bring awareness to things that we don't have awareness around. So as soon as he knew there was underlying patterns that were causing him to stay in patterns that weren't helping him in a greater sense, as soon as he was aware of that, he's taken on this full rebirth of health, and he's like, drinking clays and doing all these things that he would never have done. Like, whereas we have been on this path for a while, like a fair while now, so we're living in that way. But it's cool to watch someone that was totally like drinking a lot of alcohol, doing everything sort of wrong for his health, and then all of a sudden it's totally changed. Cool. So that's a pretty direct story as well, which is pretty cool to watch from the outside. So yes,
cool. Really cool. Of course. When everything's frequency, if we're sitting at a lower frequency, we attract lower frequency experiences in our life, and then we start to up our frequency, come more in alignment, and we attract higher frequency situations in our life. So I think this device is a really cool tool to be able to do that. Big step forward. And I just wanted to actually say, I don't know if you girls would be on board with this, but anyone that's watching this video, if you wanted to try the aura scan, we can actually do it via distance. All we need is a headshot of you and your email address. So what we do is the aura scan it scans through your photo. It's able to connect with your energy via distance, and then we can get the aura scanned PDF, and we can share it to you via email. It's quite easy to do that. So I don't know if Shay and Lena, if you're into that. Otherwise, I can take that on board if you girls are open to doing that. Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that would be a great way to share it. And the aura scan's pretty direct as well. It's been translated from German, so it can be really to the point. So take some breathing. You might be triggered. You might think it's fine. But it's a good tool to bring awareness to it. And then we can also vibrate, which sends the frequencies into your auric field, which is cool.
Can I just speak of that quickly, Holly? Because only because with the resonance scan, obviously the resonance scan uses your fingerprint, and I know people that are new to like frequency healing and things prefer to know that it's doing something, so they like putting their finger in and then running the actual program on the resonance scan. With the aura scan, I know it's out there because it's more in the quantum field, and it's using like the scalar waves that are because even a lot of the microcurrents that are on the resonance, they have a lot of people acknowledging that over a fair amount of period of time where that's a thing. Whereas the quantum and the scalar waves, people don't understand how that could be possible, that I could scan someone. But those that quantum field, without going too much into it, because we're not allowed to make direct claims on that either, like we can have our minds and our subtler bodies, they can penetrate from here right out into the universe. Like I can connect with someone on the other side of the universe. We are so connected in that way. And it's just the same as sending distance Reiki. And I actually had one of my friends who was very suspicious of that. And he's like, I'm still not where you are at. I want to believe in all this stuff, but I'm still not there yet. And he said, can you scan me on the aura scan? And I scanned him, and he was like, okay, holy crap. Yeah, all right. That is like he said it's even a little bit too personal, and I'm a little bit too embarrassed by what you know now from that. But it's a thing. So if you are open to that and anyone wants to run a scan, we can do that for sure. And then I promise not even to look too much into what it says, because we'll just send it off in PDF because it's personal. Some of the stuff that comes up there is personal.
Yeah. I don't like to read it. I've had a few experiences where I've been with someone and done the auric scan in person even, and then read it out to them and it's really triggered them and they've started crying or something. I'm like, oh, sorry. So I like to send the PDF and then people can sit down and read through it and process it on their own without feeling judged or watched or anything. So yeah, sorry, Lena, you were going to say something before.
Oh, just talking about the resonance scans. I've also done distance scans, not the auric ones, but the actual the actual resonance scan, so unlike the meridian fields and the bioenergetics, so as well as amino acids, and I found them very potent for people, especially those who are skeptic of, all this woo-woo energy, which really is, as we know, quantum physics science. But yeah, people who are very skeptical of that, I find it very much approachable using those more physical analysis. And I've done it with people over in Europe and Germany, as well as with friends in Sydney. And I knew it was exact because I would take my own scan of that particular thing right after, and they were way different. And so, example, doing the amino acids that would actually bring up the deficiencies of minerals and stuff and things in people's bodies. And it was amazing how on point it is. And so with this one lady I did it with, like, she literally just got a mineral deficiency testing done before, so she knew what she was low in, and that was exactly what was coming up in the Healy. And same with friends in Germany when we did the meridians, for example, and they were just about to tick over to menopause, and it would actually come up with the with the hormones and the menopause bioenergetics and things like that. So yeah, I find that resonance can be really amazing for people too who are a bit more skeptical about the energetic, so to speak, stuff, and to give you another bit of a scientific background on what you're already feeling or seeing in your body, what you might already have a diagnosis, like an actual medical diagnosis on, or testing done. It's incredible how exact it is in so many ways.
Yeah, that's cool, Lena. I haven't done the resonance before. I'll start doing that. So I'll open that up to, whoever wants to get a reading, if you want to choose whether to get an auric scan or a physical body scan. The amino acid is another separate, that's under the Schulze salts in the resonance. So yeah, just let us know what you're after. We need a headshot if it's for the auric scan. But yeah, I was just thinking then as well I've had quite a bit of history with frequency healing. My husband and I have used bioresonance quite a lot, and we've preferred that, and I recommend other people to use that as a better diagnosis than blood tests. That's another thing I feel like is really lacking in our medical system, is the blood tests just aren't really comprehensive enough, to be able to pick up heavy metals and different deficiencies and parasites and things like that. It just hasn't been, you can't pick that up through, or some of the Western medical system doesn't even have awareness around it. So I was already very open to frequencies. And I guess the Healy might not be as comprehensive as bioresonance, but it is in a way as well. It's also a lot more accessible because it's portable and you can wear it while you're cooking dinner or on a Zoom call rather than having to pay $50,000 for a device or go and pay $100 or so to see a practitioner. So that's really exciting. It does feel it is the first portable wearable device. It's just making frequency healing accessible to anyone and everyone. So is there anything else you feel like sharing, Lena?
I'd just like to just add on to what you guys already said. It is just another incredible tool to have a kind of black on white to know the underlying causes of what's going on as well. Because of course, really tuning into our own essence and empowerment and spirit, that is the real power that we have to heal ourselves. But the question is whether we are aware of what's actually going on underlyingly or not, given that, in Ayurveda you say that every physical and even mental and emotional symptom or disease or any issue has an energetic root cause, and therefore a spiritual root cause. And it really does start in our energy field, which means it starts everything we could possibly experience in life that's going wrong actually starts on a very, very subtle level, and it's progressive. And, depending on our level of toxicity and just general distraction from the lives we're living in this very much overstimulating and fast and vast society, we might only notice what's going wrong when it's already progressed into further later stages of disease. For example, Ayurveda also, it's the Healy as a practitioner too, and it's the natural medicine system originated in India, and they speak about having 6 stages of disease. And so, for example, where Western medicine comes in is only in stage 4 to 5. And that is where the symptoms we have, they have finally arrived in their so-called final side on the weak spot of your body, where they actually manifest into something that is now diagnosable. So say stage 4 and 5 is that now you're actually diagnosed with IBS, with liver cirrhosis, with heart disease, with whatever it is, and that's a quite advanced state, right? But that obviously didn't happen overnight. That was a very progressive process that might have started in childhood. It might have even been in our energetic field from previous times and lifetimes, who knows. And it starts with obviously the stage 1, which would be very subtle symptoms such as feeling excessively hot or cold, or getting a little bit of cramping or tension here, there, or little pains. And the problem is that in our these days society, we just write those things off as, oh, get over it, it's normal, just get on with it. And so we literally decrease our sensitivity to tuning into our own body and noticing what's up before it manifests into something quite hectic and quite obvious that needs major treatment. And that, of course, that's where Western medicine comes in. But at the end of the day, drugs and surgery and things like that, they are last resort kind of treatments when you're already at a stage where things are just too late, too advanced to progress, to prevent it. And that's the difference, where Healy can be an incredible tool to really work into the prevention of stuff with us and help us to recognize those very subtle, those very, energetic symptoms that are already lingering in our field, that, in Ayurveda, that would be stage 1, or probably leading up to stage 1 of disease before it's progressing further. And therefore it allows us to correct an imbalance before it down the track, it manifests into whatever, cancer, cirrhosis, whatever disease that might be, that's very unique as for how it plays out in each and every one of us. And it might have actually had the same energetic root cause, but plays out differently in our bodies. And it is so preventable if we learn to tune back into what those initial alarming sensations and symptoms are like. And so, not every one of us can feel those things. Like, it starts with simple things like feeling different parts of your body. Like if you, for example, can't actually physically or through your breath connect to your womb, connect to your ovaries, connect to different parts of the body, how would you be able to feel that something is wrong there energetically already? And that's where I find, because I encountered a few people who said, oh, if you're using Healy, it's taking the power away from our own healing potential. And it's like we're giving our own power away to AI or to a technology or to a device. And that is true if you become reliant on it, as with anything else. And that's why I say it's a tool, because how could you access your own power if you don't know what it feels like, if you can't tap into the power, if you can't recognize it in your body, if you can't recognize when you're in equilibrium versus when your energy is off. And that's where Healy is just an incredible tool to help you to re-attune more to the subtleties of your body and really give you those underlying root causes of what's bound to happen if you don't change your ways, if you don't zone into healing that certain aspect of yourself. And we've seen it, for example, my partner, he had, similar to Maya actually, Holia, he had a tooth thing going on a few months ago now, like to a point where eventually he was literally spending 3 days at home in agony of this. It was a rotten tooth or something that was affecting his whole head. But we actually did Healy scans, and that was just after we got the Healy, so we haven't been super fluent with it yet. We've done scans on him weeks before, and it literally came up with teeth, nerves, and something else, so, and that's
before
exactly
it was even hurting. I remember that. I think it was actually on my Healy before you got your Healy. We did the
exactly
scan,
it
and it came up teeth. And he's like, oh, my teeth are fine.
Imbalance before we physically felt it, and then a few weeks later, and boom, hit him like a truck. That's so, and I had a few instances like that myself. Same as Shay, I use it for maintenance. I don't tend to get hectic health issues, but I was, for example, just before I get my period, and I'm in tune with my period, I know when it's coming, but say I do the scan a week before for the meridians or bioenergetics, it will come up with hormones, and then closer to the period, it will come up with menstruation. And then and then it will literally come. It's just amazing how it literally mirrors what you know is bound to happen in your body. That's just another big thing for the skeptics or people who need this science to believe in something. I find to see it black and white of, look, this is periods, for example, that are so predictable, or the tooth thing. And yeah. And a big experience I had just energetically as well with the Healy was I use it as well for kind of mental balance and just finding this equilibrium again. And I had a few days where I just got pulled very low with what's going on in the world, you know, which we don't want to go into, but I use the Healy as well on the mental programs, which is just inner balance and inner well-being. And I could literally feel it lift me off from this like heavy, lethargic, really low mental state. I just became so light to a point where, and it wasn't even on full intensity, it was on 45% or something, the energy, the frequency was running. And I had to literally sit down and just take a moment to be in shavasana and meditate and take a few deep breaths, and just pulled me right out of this route that, you know, again, that's an leading sign to, if we don't pick ourselves up in those frequencies, that leads to further stuff like anxiety, depression, and physical stuff. So that's where it so comes handy into, yeah, catching us out early on and helping us to recalibrate while it is just an energetic symptom and not more physical yet, which is so amazing. And in saying that though, Healy's coming out of Germany. It's very science-backed, even though, as we know, with the alternative healing health system, we're not allowed to make certain, well, most claims. And we know that, you know, a lot of natural healing ways are just so potent and so accurate, and Healy's one of them, and it's actually FDA approved already. And correct me if I forget something, but pretty sure it's anxiety, depression, and fibromyalgia and chronic pain. And you guys, if there's anything to add, but so that's FDA approved, which is huge.
Yeah, FDA approved in America and Europe, and it's going through a process in Australia here, but it's yes, supportive for anxiety and depression, but a treatment, grade 2 medical device for pain and fibromyalgia. And I've had the same experience with the mental balancing programs as you, Lena. It sort of like lifts this fog or this heaviness off, like it's like nearly physically feeling it, which is just so bizarre. And really cool at the same time. So yeah.
And I think on what you just said too, Lena, because my youngest short story, I'll try to compact it, but my ex went and got him immunized, like 3 lots of immunizations all at once, to back it up, very much against my consent, but because he had 3 lots of the what's it called, the measles, mumps, rubella, like MMR. He had 3 lots at once, and I was taking him to bioresonance because we were going to bioresonance also, but I took him to bioresonance, and bioresonance is more comprehensive in a lot of ways. But what Mark was saying, and even with the quantum, I know, because there's still doctors that have gone into this, and they are still very science-based, and they're incredible, like geniuses. But even they were saying that even something like a bioresonance, it might be more comprehensive in the resonance scans, which in some ways it is, but it goes up until, I think the bioresonance does up until the 5th dimension or something of our healing, whereas the Healy's at the moment on the market, the only one that's going up to like the 12th dimension, which I know that's like also sounding really out there, but it's still, like you said, doing all the subtle things like our emotional, which haven't manifested, like Lena was saying, it hasn't manifested directly yet into something that can be diagnosed. But if we have that awareness around the emotional root cause of these things, which the Healy can do through the aura scan, instead of becoming reliant on that for your own health, for me, it just is an amazing tool to bring awareness to those subtle things that are going on in the subconscious that we haven't processed and worked on yet. And without attaching to that too much. But if we have awareness around those things, it is an incredible tool to be able to take that healing into your own hands, and before it manifests as something more sinister.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, we'll wrap it up because I just wanted to keep it short and sweet. And I did just want to let everyone know that there is a sale on with the Healys at the moment for the next week until the 3rd of March. So yeah, reach out if you are interested in learning more. Is there anything else you wanted to share about that side of things? Healy packages, should we go into that, or we'll just share information if people want?
Yeah, people can just reach out, and I know it's only a week left now, but this is the other, there was a sale in April last year and one in August, but they were only 4 days and people still managed to get on, whereas this one's the only one. This was a 30-day sort of reset for introducing Healy now worldwide. So it's been 30 days. We've sort of left it till the last week. They wanted to give us a full 30 days. So even with 7 days only to go, it's still enough time.
Yeah. Trust us to wait till the last minute. But yeah, that's just how this month has flowed. It feels like we're only just getting into the new year. Let's start doing things and sharing things again. But yeah, it feels like such an honor to have Healy as a part of my business and an offering to support families to take control of their own health. And
that's something I wanted to mention. Sorry, Halia.
Yeah,
just the
please.
business side, because I've been speaking to quite a few friends who are practitioners about Healy. And it's just such an enhancement if you work in the health and wellness industry, be that the alternative one or more physical, or the medical, Western medical one. It's just, it's something you can, I know people who actually run meditation classes with Healy, elevating the frequency in the room, or other people who do, acupuncture and put it on as an additive for certain people while they get the needles, while they get a massage, a treatment, a consult, whatever it is. So for practitioners, I think it's just, especially the highest level, which is the Healy resonance, which has the distance healing and the diagnosis or analysis. And just such a beautiful additive to get deeper with your clients in that sense, which we all just covered. But also from the business side, it's actually also the tax expense. If that's something you use in your business, it's a real great asset that can get you further enhancement of the work you're doing already, and obviously the financial side of your business can benefit there this time of the year as well. Just as a little side note.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. That's actually a really good point too, Lena, because I've never done it as when people come here for like Reiki, acutonics and things like that. I felt like it was overdoing it to run a program on them while they're coming for Reiki and also acutonics and got the whole lot going on. But because it scans rooms, and you can even put a protection program on the room, which is so great for practitioners that work from home, because that's been like, having people come here and then it's still my family space, but even actually putting like a protection frequency on the area and the space. And then, amazing. There's so many things that you can do with Healy, like so many things.
Or you could use the vibrate frequency, the vibrate on the auric scan without having to hook them up to the straps as well. There's so much you can do, and then send them the PDF afterwards, so they've got something physical of what was kind of come up during the session. Really cool. There's lots of possibilities. I feel like I haven't even I've had it for nearly a year, and I feel like I've hardly touched on all the things I kind of got with what I'm doing and what frequencies I use, but there's so much more that you can do with it. You just there's so many training videos, and there's so much with the business model as well. It depends on how much you want to get into it. Cool. Well, let's finish it off with that. And it was so nice to connect with these two beautiful favorite ladies of mine, doing really amazing things in the world. And I'll get this video link out and we can share it with our tribe. And full moon blessings as well. It's a full moon on Saturday in Virgo, I believe. So looking forward to that. And I'll chat to you lovely soon. All my love to everyone out there.
Thank you.
I'll chat to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.